Science isn't just about facts and formulas, it can also be incredibly satisfying to watch. From melting metals that behave like liquid to slow-motion chemical reactions, these 10 strange but satisfying science experiments will leave you mesmerized. Watch till the end for the most mind-blowing experiment yet. Alright guys, let's kick things off with something that'll make your jaw drop. Ferrofluid. Imagine a liquid that's basically magnetic slime. This stuff is loaded with tiny microscopic magnetic particles. And when you blast some tunes and those sound waves hit the ferrofluid, something amazing happens. These tiny particles go wild, bunching up and forming these crazy intricate spikes and patterns that move in sync with the music. It's like watching a lava lamp designed by a supercomputer. Seriously, you gotta see this to believe it. Alright, for this next one, imagine holding a chunk of metal in your hand, but instead of it being cold and hard, it starts to melt like ice cream on a hot summer day. That's exactly what happens with gallium, this bizarre metal that turns to liquid at a mere 85 degrees Fahrenheit. That's right, just the heat from your hand is enough to turn this stuff into a silvery puddle. But here's the kicker. Gallium is totally harmless, so you can actually touch it and watch the melting magic happen right in your palm. Just don't try this with aluminum though. Gallium loves to mess with aluminum, weakening its structure and basically making it crumble. Ever dreamed of walking on water? Well, this next experiment might just convince you it's possible. We're talking about non-Newtonian fluids. And no, it's not some complicated scientific term. It's actually something you can whip up in your kitchen with just cornstarch and water. This bizarre concoction acts like a liquid when you're gentle with it, but turns solid the moment you apply some force. So, if you have a pool of this stuff, you can literally run across it like a superhero. But here's the catch: hesitate for even a second and you'll sink like a stone. That's the beauty of non-Newtonian fluids. They defy expectations. Chapter 4. Burning magnesium underwater. They say you can't burn underwater. Well, they've obviously never met magnesium. This metal laughs in the face of conventional wisdom. See, when you ignite magnesium, it burns so fiercely that it even rips the oxygen molecules straight out of the water. And you know what that means. The fire keeps on burning, producing this crazy, bright white light that's almost blinding. It's like underwater fireworks, but way more scientific and way more awesome. Chapter 5. The Leidenfrost Effect. Water floating on a hot pan. Okay, for this one you'll need a hot pan and some water droplets. We've all seen this a million times, those tiny beads of water dancing around on a scorching hot pan. But have you ever stopped to wonder why they don't just evaporate instantly? It's called the Leidenfrost Effect. And it's all about that thin layer of steam that forms beneath the water droplet. This vapor barrier acts like a tiny hovercraft, allowing the water to glide around effortlessly. It's like those air hockey tables, but on a microscopic level. Chapter 6. Hydrophobic sand water can't touch it. Ever heard of sand that hates water? No, it's not magic, it's science. Hydrophobic sand is coated with a special hydrophobic material, which is a fancy way of saying it repels water, like it's its arch nemesis. So when you dunk this stuff in water, something incredible happens. Instead of getting soaked, the sand forms these mesmerizing silvery clumps that stay completely dry. You can even scoop it up, and the water just beads off like it's nothing. Okay, get ready for some instant gratification with this one. Hot ice or sodium acetate is like the superhero of the chemical world. You see, when you supercool this stuff, it stays liquid, just waiting for its moment to shine. And when that moment comes, trust me, it doesn't disappoint. All it takes is a little nudge, a tap, or even just a speck of dust, and boom, the whole thing crystallizes before your very eyes. It's like watching a magic trick, but instead of smoke and mirrors, it's pure science. Chapter 8. Lichtenberg figures capturing lightning in plastic. Ever wanted to hold a lightning bolt in your hand? Well, with Lichtenberg figures you can get pretty darn close. These intricate tree-like patterns are formed when high-voltage electricity is unleashed. inside a block of acrylic. It's like trapping lightning in a bottle, but instead of a bottle, it's a chunk of plastic, and instead of lightning, it's a controlled electrical discharge. But hey, the effect is just as mind-blowing. Chapter 9. Bismuth crystals growing before your eyes. Now let's talk about bismuth, a metal that's about to rock your world with its mesmerizing crystal formations. When you melt this bad boy down and let it cool, something magical happens. Bismuth doesn't just solidify, it forms these intricate staircase-like crystals that shimmer with every color of the rainbow. It's like Mother Nature decided to create her own disco ball, and trust me, you won't be able to take your eyes off it. Chapter 10. Supercooled water instantly freezing. And for our final act, prepare to be amazed by the magic of supercooled water. We're talking about water that's chilled below its freezing point, but refuses to turn into ice. It's like it's stuck in a state of suspended animation, just waiting for the right moment to unleash its frosty fury. And when that moment arrives, usually with a little shake or a nudge, the transformation is instant and spectacular. It's like someone hit the fast-forward button on the freezing process, and it's a sight you won't soon forget. That's a wrap. Which experiment amazed you the most? Comment below, and don't forget to subscribe for more mind-blowing science experiments.